Hello everyone and welcome to All Things Watched. In this video we are going to be talking about the brand new movie The Gorge. And The Gorge mainly starred Miles Teller, Anya Taylor-Joy, and Sigourney Weaver, and honestly this was a great movie, and this one was released actually by a streaming service, Apple Plus or Apple TV, whatever you want to call it, tomato, and I honestly had a lot of fun with this movie. I wasn't really sure what I was going to be in for. I knew from some of the marketing that this was probably going to be a relatively science fiction type show, but I still really wasn't 100% sure how it was going to go, and basically the concept or the whole idea of the movie, without going into too much spoilery detail, is that really there's this great big gorge in the earth, and both sides of the gorge is almost like sort of like the Grand Canyon. I guess that's sort of the best way to describe it. It's not the Grand Canyon, but it's similar to the Grand Canyon in the sense that it's a great big, canyon going, or gorge going through the earth, and on both sides of the gorge it's a different country, a different jurisdiction, and all that kind of stuff. And so on one side you have Anya Taylor-Joy's character, who's known as Drasa, I believe is how you pronounce that. And of course, so I believe that side was Russian. I think they said it was Russian. And then on the other side, it's I believe it was American, and it was Miles Teller's character protecting that side, so to speak. And his name was Levi. And so the idea is that you had two people all the time on both sides of the gorge, and their objective was to kill anything that comes up out of the gorge and stop it from getting to any form of civilization. Now, in the meantime, while they're supposed to protect it, they are given some very advanced technologies to help them protect it. You have motion sensors and bombs and automatic turrets and all these forms of weaponry that they have that they can use and utilize in order to help them protect the gorge and basically stop these creatures, or whatever they may or may not be, from getting out and actually going into the world. Now, of course, the first half of the movie is really all about us being introduced to Levi and Drasa and both their characters from both sides, the American side and then of course the Russian side, and you get a fair amount of backstory about her and her family, and you get a little bit of backstory about Levi and his family. And then of course it's about them coming to the gorge, and then sort of them almost like they sort of fall in love, without giving too much away. And that's essentially like the first whole half of the movie, and it was actually going on for so long that I was almost getting to the point where I was kind of thinking maybe this is not what I thought it was going to be, and maybe this is actually getting a little bit boring, because I almost felt like it was dragging on almost too long. But before I actually got to that point of being bored, or sort of ready to move on from the love aspect of the movie, that's when the action breaks out. And let me tell you, boy, when the action comes, it comes heavy and full on, and it is pedal to the metal, and it pretty well doesn't stop until the end of the movie. Now, Sigourney Weaver's character, she plays a character known as Bartholomew, and she's basically the boss of Levi, or Miles Teller's character. So she's sort of like the boss. It's almost like she sort of controls the gorge, or a majority of the gorge and whatnot. So she plays a very important role as well. And once again, all of the performances in this movie were done really well. Anya Taylor-Joy kills it like always. I mean, she is just a superstar rising. Every year I feel like she's just getting more and more popular, and her performances are just getting better and better and better. It's great to see Miles Teller again. I haven't seen Miles in a while now. I haven't seen any of his projects really in quite some time, but I'm a big fan of his work. Sigourney Weaver, of course, how do you not like her? She's phenomenal in everything she does, and so when you have this cast in this type of movie, it's done really well. And so and like I said, all the performances were great, and then like I said, once the action kicks in, it really kicks in. And I will say that there were times and even elements of this movie that really remind me of Pirates of the Caribbean. And I think that if I was to compare this movie to anything, it would be I would probably compare it to like Pirates of the Caribbean, maybe the first parts, or maybe even the second parts, but somewhere between the first and second Pirates of the Caribbean type movie. That is what The Gorge, I would say, is. it's in that genre of like what these creatures are, or the mythical kind of fantastical science fiction parts of this movie really put me in mind of sort of Pirates of the Caribbean, and I really loved it. I honestly really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was great. I thought the performances were great. I love the story. They do give backstory to the Gorge and sort of a little bit of an origin to why it exists or how it exists and what these creatures are and where they sort of come from. So I was really interested in that part of it, and it was really fun seeing Levi and Dressage sort of uncover these truths while they're, you know, trying to protect the Gorge and all that kind of stuff. And of course, in the trailer, they do reveal that the Gorge, you know, they are going to go into the Gorge. That was in the trailer, so that's not a big spoiler. So when they go down into the Gorge, it was just a lot of fun seeing the action and seeing them uncover a lot of the truths that were down in the Gorge. And overall, I really enjoyed this movie. I had a ton of fun, and if I had to put a number on the Gorge, honestly, I'd probably give this like a 70 or even 75%. I don't do specific numbers, like I don't do 71 or 72. It was either, I go up by 5, so either 70 or 75. And for me, I would give this one at least 70, maybe 75, because I did really enjoy it. If they ever did a second movie, I would totally be there. I love the world, I love the characters, and I really love the story of the Gorge, and I would highly recommend it. So let me know in the comment section below if you've seen the Gorge, and if you'd like to tell me why or why not you like this video, click the subscribe button. And until the next one, take care.